What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great week, enjoying this beautiful victory, being 3-0, all of this greatness. But unfortunately, I'm here to move on to week 4. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going behind enemy lines and getting to know the Eagles' week 4 opponent, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time tonight, hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, everything you're doing to support me. I truly cannot thank you enough. Those things really do help me out. The algorithm getting me out there. I truly can't thank you for the support. I was able to go on with my guy Ryan and MK earlier. Really enjoyed going on their show, talking about the bird. So hopefully you're out there supporting some other great content creators as well. But I truly appreciate you taking the time, whether you're watching this live, watching this later. Any questions, any comments that you have are more than welcome. We're going to go through and we are going to get to know this team. Now, it's going to be different than the first few weeks because I'm not talking about who they added in the offseason, all this stuff. We know that by now. Now we're getting into where do they rank in the AFC, NFC? Where do they rank in their division? Where do they rank? I mean, everywhere, the stat rankings, all that stuff. Then we'll get through the coaches, we'll get through the roster, all that stuff, and then take a look at the depth chart, talk about their injuries, everything. So you will get to know everything about the Jacksonville Jaguars this Saturday, trying to get my buddy Dante from East Coast Gridiron on the show. We're going to talk a little bit about those Jaguars of his, but tonight I'm going to break it down, get to know these guys. We'll go through the week, talk about the top 10 matchups, all that great stuff. But if you have anything you want to throw out there about that, just because the show is not about that topic does not mean you can't talk about it. So whatever the hell's on your mind, let me hear it. My man Samuel in the building. What is going on, brother? Really nice to see you. Hope you're having a great week, dude. Ready to talk about these Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is not a team to be slept on right now, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to talk about it. Appreciate you tuning in, Sam. My man Jock Talk in the building. What's going on, dude? Hope you are well also. Did Covey get put on waivers since he called up 3 times? No, they're allowed to be called up 3 times, so he's still on the practice squad. The only thing is now he cannot be, if he were to be called up again, he would either be put on the active roster after that, so they could bring him up again this week, but he's either on the active roster or they let him go through the waiver process. Someone can claim him. If he's not claimed, then they can put him back on the practice squad, but he is still currently on our practice squad. Great question there. Any questions you guys have, whether it's about the Jags, Eagles, whatever it is, I'd love to hear it. So let's get it going. We're going to talk about it. Lincoln Financial Field, 1 o'clock this Sunday on CBS. Man, this is going to be a fun matchup. I really cannot wait to see this one. And, obviously we know who's coming home, all that great stuff. So we're going to talk about that in a second, but I'm going to give you an idea of what this team looks like inside and out, man. So let's get it going here, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, my man Ryan in the building. What's going on, dude? This is who I was just talking about. I was on the show earlier, had a great time. Appreciate you. Also trying to help me out with this damn Chromebook every time I go on with multiple people and it kicks me off. So that could really change the game. Really appreciate you, my man, and also appreciate you taking the time to tune in. Dude, and I hope you're also having a great day. It was really awesome chopping it up with you, my man. 10 a.m. We've got, dude. I love it. And I was looking at the other day, the, analytics of everything on my YouTube channel. And dude, there's people from Germany, India, all over the world watching, and that's pretty awesome, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. So truly cannot thank all of you enough. You guys are awesome, seriously. So we're going to get this bad boy rolling, and up first, we're going to talk about where the Jaguars stand right now in the AFC and also in the AFC South. And this team, as I said earlier, is not to be slept on. So right now, on top of their division in the AFC South, 2-1. They got the Colts behind them at 1-1-1. Titans at 1-2. And then, of course, the Texans have not won a game at 0-2-1. So, look, the Jaguars, this is 3 games in. So just as much as everybody says, oh, well, the Eagles suck still, you can't tell. That's great. You still have no idea how great the Jaguars really are. What we do know is they have a lot of great young talent. And that is a great sign with a great coach that you are heading in the right direction, and it looks like they are off to a damn great start. First in their division and sitting second in the AFC at 2-1. Again, it's only 3 games in, so a lot of these things are going to change, but you want to come out hot. You want to build on things, especially a young team like the Eagles or the Jaguars. So Look, Doug Peterson, we knew would go in there and help that team, but they have had quite the turnaround here, and you love to see it. Proud of Doug. Love that man. Always will. But on Sunday, you're going to get your ass kicked, I hope. So let's keep breaking it down by talking about where they rank now when it comes to how this team is doing overall. And now we only have 3 weeks, but I waited 3 weeks, so at least we had something. I'm not going to give it to you after, 1 or 2 weeks. Well, they're number 1 in the league. You take it all with a grain of salt, but, it does give you an idea. So let's take a look at how the Jags have been faring so far this season. So you look at the offensive side of the ball first here, 10th in rush yards per game, 10th in passing yards per game, and then 6th overall. That's that's pretty damn good. So when you've got a top 10 rushing attack and passing attack, you're heading in the right damn direction. We know Doug is a bright mind, got some real good young talented players there. So we're going to take a look at them in a second, but you see they're 6th in overall yards per game and 7th in points per game, putting up 28 points per game right now. And they've gone against some good teams like the Colts with a good defense. So this is, look, you want to say surprising. We know Doug is a good coach and we know they've got young talent, but it is surprising to see, when I was making this, I was like, damn, dude. So giving up only 0.7 sacks per game, that's tied for the best in the league. The same with interceptions thrown per game at 0.3. 0 fumbles per game, tied for first, and then just tied for first in turnovers overall per game at 0.3. So really not turning over the ball, playing smart football. That's something you want to see from a young team right off the bat, 3 games in. That's pretty nice. So then you get to the defensive side of the ball. They are shutting down that run. 55 yards per game. Again, take it all with a grain of salt. You know that some teams playing catch up, they pass more. That's great. So they are 21st against the pass. Again, teams are passing more, a lot more passing yards. Total yards per game, though, 7th, 306.7 yards per game. That's pretty damn good. And then they are tied for 4th at 12.7. So they are scoring over double what their opponents are scoring. That is a great place to be. You see they're getting 2.3 sacks per game, 2 interceptions per game, which is tied for first, 1.3 fumbles forced per game, and then 2.7 turnovers total per game. That's tied for first. So this is an offensive and defensive force to be reckoned with, just like the Eagles. Good on both sides of the ball. A lot of young talent with a lot of question marks, but they are stomping on those questions, man. And I'm loving to see every damn second of it. So up next, we are going to get into what I know you've all been waiting to talk about. Doug Peterson back home, baby. And we're going to talk about his staff. Let me check out these comments here real quick. My man, Lonely Bee in the building. I had a thought watching the game last night. Giants offense, little people, Cowboys need to do like the Commanders. Cowboys need to change their name to the Cow People. Oh, wow. Yeah, Cowboys suck. Hell, Jags should be 3-0, but gave the game. Yeah, man, they really did. I got to catch the end of that. What a wild game. But, dude, this team, it means business, man. And we're going to take a look at the roster here in a sec right after this coaching staff. Jaguars are very good, but I hope they have the defense contain them. Want to be 4-0. Doug is perfect. Yep, and we're going to talk about the matchups all week. And we've talked about, how you can shut down Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, that kind of offense. Well, we're going to talk about how you stop all the weapons on the Jaguars offense. And we're going to talk about how our offense can attack their defense. They've got a lot of young studs there. So we're going to see them here in a second. But yeah, man, we have to dictate every game. We have to come out and punch everyone in the mouth on both sides of the ball. We are capable of doing that. We have the talent. So we're going to see how that goes. But this is going to be a very, very fun matchup to watch. Heck of a turnaround. Yeah, it sure is. You love to see it. Doug Peterson comes in, and obviously when you change the culture, you've got somebody in here that actually cares about the players. He's going to take you out for ice cream. He's not going to go out and, try to hang out with 16-year-old girls. So Doug Peterson's a man's man. We love him. And I wish I was there on Sunday to give him that love. Now let's take a gander at this coaching staff here. Got Doug Peterson. He brought old Press Taylor with him. Let's go. Yeah, we all know that was the death of him in Philadelphia, because let's be real here. He just didn't want to change his ways. There were so many things that we thought needed to happen, and well, he just didn't want to do that. So, it is what it is. Look, Press Taylor's been doing good so far, so I can't say much. Doug Peterson, a great mind. My point is he didn't want to bring an offensive coordinator to Philadelphia, and that's all they wanted him to do. And then they're like, well, yeah, we don't really want it to be Press Taylor if that's who you're picking. So Yeah, it is what it is. Looks like it's working out well for them there. Love to see it. Hopefully they learned from that experience. And you got Mike Caldwell, who's been in the league for 900 years. Actually, he was with the Eagles for a while, if you guys remember, back when I was a little younger. But yeah, he's been all over the place. Love the dude. Most recently with the Buccaneers, but he's been all over the place, as I said. But they got him this year as the D coordinator, and then Heath Farwell there as the special teams coordinator. So a good staff for Doug, and they're coming out swinging, man. You love to see it. Again, 2-1. That is something with those ranks that they have there, man. That's impressive. You got to be impressed with what Doug Peterson has been able to do with a team that, nobody wanted to give chance. So the first pick of the draft, that usually means you suck. So, love to see it, but not going to want to see it on Sunday. I'll be real with you. Hoping they come into our house and we dictate this entire game because we are capable of doing that to any team. But let's move this on and let's take a look at what this roster looks like. Now, you guys know how this goes. I'm going to go through. We're going to take a look at the quarterbacks, the running backs, receivers, tight ends, all under the sun. Everybody I possibly can. So we're going to look through each position. And then after that, I'm going to show you as a whole, looking at the depth chart so you can see all what it looks like. But this way you get to see who they have at each position. Every single thing that you need to going into week 4. So James Robinson, this was a guy I wanted to mention because, this dude's a stud. And this year I was more than pissed. I don't remember who it was, but whoever you are that jumped me in fantasy football and took him, I thought I was getting a steal of a pick. You suck. Just want to let you know. But this dude coming out here with Travis Etienne, what a combo pack. So this offense, I think, with him in it has really just been revamped. So let's talk about this damn team, starting with the offense at quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. This kid has vastly improved this year. Clearly, he's got a ways to go. But, man, it's funny. It's almost as if quarterbacks come into the league and, sometimes they need time to work on things and develop. Wild. Even if they are a first round pick that's supposed to be a superstar. Jeez. Crazy. Now you see, I think we can rattle this dude. I'm not worried about Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to be honest with you. Wasn't worried about Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. I'm not worried about any of them. I do not care. I'll be real with you. Definitely not Jared Goff. So Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, but I think we can get this kid rattled, cause some turnovers here. They haven't been turning that ball over. Let's start the party this week. Now, we talked about that run game. This is how we have to try to shut them down, make them one-dimensional, but that is going to be tough. This rushing attack is not to be messed with. Talked about top 10 in rushing and passing. They have a great balanced offense here. James Robinson, Travis Etienne. You got Hasty in there. Haven't seen Snoop Connor yet this year, but you guys know I really liked him before this draft. So they've got a talented running back room, and they are definitely going to try to attack us just like the Lions did in week 1 and pound that rock right down our throats. But let's hope we can shut not just him, James Robinson, but Travis Etienne as well, just like we did with Dalvin Cook, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, all those guys, Madison. So that's what we got to hope for. But these dudes could be coming at you tough, and I think James Robinson is going to come ready to play. He knows Philly is tough. He knows they're going to want to depend on the run for a little bit there before that passing game opens up, and we better hope this team comes tackling this week because, man, he is a beast. Now, the wide receivers they've got, people were pretty pissed that, they wanted to spend their money how they saw fit, but I thought it was a great investment. Christian Kirk, you go out and get a receiver for Trevor Lawrence, and boy, has he been shining. Marvin Jones they brought last year. Zay Jones, another good addition, who played with the Raiders, Bills, really couldn't find himself, but he has been doing pretty damn good with Trevor Lawrence and these Jaguars. So a change of scenery can do wonders for some of these guys. You've got Agnew, Jones, and Pryor there as depth, but those top 3, pretty damn good. But I'll be real with you. Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, and Jahan Dotson, I would take over these 3, and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne. So what I'm trying to say is this is an offense we can stop, but it's definitely an offense with weapons that could get going. So you better make sure Jonathan Gannon brings the right game plan. But, yeah, they've got some pretty good receivers here. And then the good old tight end, Evan Ingram. We all remember him, Mr. Butterfingers. He has found a new home, and we all know Doug Peterson loves to use his tight end. So Ingram has had his ups and downs this year, but I thought, he is really fitting in well there, and I think he's going to have a decent season. They got Manhurts there, Dan Arnold they added last year, Luke Farrell. So we've got some tight ends rolling with 4 there, but Evan Ingram, he is a playmaker, man. So if he does end up catching a ball, he may make some plays. So you definitely want to see TJ Edwards and Kaiser White continue to, just shine, man. Love to see what this team has been able to do. But they have weapons all over the board. And they also have a pretty good offensive line here. You're looking at Cam Robinson, Ben Barch, Luke Fortner. They added Fortner and Scherf this year. Fortner in the draft, Scherf in free agency. They've got Jawan Taylor there. So a pretty good offensive line. It's going to be a challenge. I think definitely a greater challenge than what Washington was. But hey, look, they've got some good offensive linemen there too. I just feel this is a better one. Going to be a tougher test for our line, but our line came out and whooped some ass with those 9 sacks last week. So let's continue to do that. We talk about building up on that pressure. You don't need to blitz. You need to create pressure with those odd fronts you're running. And I really think you saw a lot of that last week. So excited to see some more to hopefully try to shut down this offense. Man, bad Babylon. What do we think we do with our open spot on the roster? I think there's one on the roster, one on the practice squad. Well, here's the thing. I think that the Eagles have, the option because right now we're good. We don't have injuries that are really hurting us. We filled in, where we saw fit with Dillard and Graham or Barnett, so I think, for me, it was Britton Covey. That's what they were waiting on. If he could prove something, he did not. And as I was saying, and someone, took offense to this last week, they're like, the Eagles have to keep Covey. And, half the time I have no idea if people really feel that way or not. But as I said, no, they don't have to. He needs to go out and prove something. He hasn't proven anything to me. I was hopeful this offseason that he would make the team, but I'm not just going to hope you into a roster spot. You've got to go out and do it. So, as I said last week, this is your shot, man, and had some mistakes there. And, he had one good return, but it's like, so I think, you could activate him this week one more time. You have that active roster spot. But if he doesn't do well, then you don't care. And you're like, you know what? You're going to hit the waiver wire. If no one takes you, we'll put you back on the practice squad. It is what it is. If you get brought up and you do something, then maybe, just maybe, but maybe they just keep on the practice squad. We had Devontae Smith back there, punt returner. They love Quez Watkins back there, kick returner. So, I mean, you could get by with that. And we've talked about Devontae being back there, but I don't know how much I want him back there. So certain situations, I'm okay with it. We talked about maybe Zach Pascal, things like that. So very intriguing, but I think they're waiting to see what they want to do, with Britton Covey. You need to have a return man, in my opinion, and we don't right now. So it is what it is, man. But great question there. If the Eagles can get Jordan Davis involved more to help shut down that, well, I don't think you need to. I thought this defense is really getting on the same page. We talk about, he and Nakobe Dean, we got to be patient with them. And, we have to understand that this all isn't going to happen overnight. That's what we talked about with this defense. Let's be patient. So we've been patient. We see what they were able to do last couple of weeks. Let's just be patient again. We've got veteran players. And for Jordan Davis, it's situational football. He will get his. Trust me. When you need a nose tackle, he will. So great point, Samuel. Get his ass in there. But there is so much going on, whereas you don't need him. And you don't need Nakobe Dean at all because of Kaiser White and TJ Edwards. So for me, I think they both will see their snaps, but it's a great point, Samuel. You want to shut down this rushing attack, and I think Jordan Davis is the way you do that. So, yeah, man, I'm on board, but I'm also not one of the people. I'm not trying to lose my mind that he hasn't, been playing 100% of the snaps because we knew from the get this guy's probably going to play around 50, 60% of the snaps anyway. Situational football, very needed in certain situations, so perfectly fine with it. But great question there, man, or point you made there. Love it, love it, love it. Covey seems to go down too easily. Yeah, man, he's got a long ways to go. And that was the fear, So I agree with you. I think, in time, he could be great, but we need something right now. So let's move along on to this old defense here. And look, I'm breaking this up because this is a 3-4 odd front defense, and you know how I roll with this stuff. If you're looking at, a defensive end, defensive tackle. This guy, well, yeah, but this guy's a and it's like, all right, dude. So these are your defensive ends, defensive tackles. But Fuller Runsu, Fadakasi, he and Roy Robertson Harris are your defensive ends, your 3, 4, 5 techniques. And then you got Devon Hamilton, their nose tackle. Then you've got Smoot and Gotsis as your backups there. So they've got some big boys on the interior. And then your edge rushers, which we tried to desperately explain to the Eagles media this entire offseason what this is. outside linebackers, but if they were in, even front, they would just be a defensive end. This is an edge rusher. So they will be listed as weak side and Sam linebackers. Oh, and I know that throws people off, but it's not really that crazy. They're outside linebackers rushing just like the Eagles have in Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. So they play the outside linebacker. There is, I'm just going with 3-4 because that's what they predominantly run. There is some versatility to that defense. You've got very versatile players there. But a great addition in Arden Key this offseason. Kay Levon Chasson last year. So they've got some pretty damn good depth there at edge rusher. So protect Jalen at all costs. Jordan and Lane. Oh, yeah. Going to be some fun matchups to watch. Those two against those two. And the depth is pretty damn good, too. And then when you're looking at the inside linebacker, oh, my God. We talked about Devin Lloyd this offseason. This kid is a stud. Stud. I love this kid and really hope the best for his career, but not on Sunday. So he's been all over the place. And then they added Foyesade Olakun, who, oh my God, what a stud he was in Atlanta last year. Had him on my fantasy team. Dude is a tackling machine. So you put him with Devin Lloyd. And then Chad Muma, they got in the draft too, who I really like. So they've got some talented linebackers here, but Olakun and Lloyd here are two beasts. So this defense, man, is really, really, really not to be slept on. It's going to be a fun test for this offense, seeing some very, very young, talented guys here. So excited to see that. Now, on to the secondary. Shaquille Griffin was a little banged up, so took him off here. You got Herndon and Monteric Brown as depth, but last week they had Chris Claybrooks stepping in. You've got Tyson Campbell, you remember from last year. We talked about pre-draft, the Georgia kid. Holy shit, he is a stud. Then you've got Darius Williams they picked up in free agency from the Rams. So they've got themselves a decent secondary. We'll keep up to date with their injury report as always. So, tomorrow I will drop that first injury report of the week for the Eagles and the Jaguars, and we will see where all of their players stand. I only have one guy on IR that matters, Jordan Smith. I think they have maybe a Willie Johnson receiver or something like that on IR, but he might have been released with one. I don't know. I wasn't sure, so I didn't put him on there. But there are your cornerbacks, and here are your safeties. So Andre Cisco, not to be confused for Cisco with multicolored hair. Then Rayshawn Jenkins. He is a very underrated safety in this league. Then they've got some good depth there in Wingard, Gillespie, and then they've got Daniel Thomas there. So a pretty decent secondary, but I think our receivers can have their way and our tight ends. So, again, very great up front. Questionable in the secondary with their injuries and everything going on. But I think this is a defense we can attack, and we should be able to put up points on. So, but again, a very tough defense. You saw the stats earlier. But yeah, now on to the special teams. We do not leave anyone out. They got Riley Patterson at kicker, their punter and holder, Logan Cook, long snapper, Ross Mataskick, and then Jamal Agnew back there returning the ball. That dude is a freak of nature. Remember him with the Lions. So I'm sure he and Darius Slay will be dapping it up or exchanging jerseys or whatever it is before and after the game. I know he is also a big fan. Had him a couple years in fantasy. He was killing it when he was a defensive player. He always got me lots of points because we got return yards. But you got to watch out for this team. Now let's take a look as a whole. So let me know your thoughts on that roster, how you're feeling about this team. How do you feel about the Eagles going into this game? Do you think the Eagles can go in and get a big win? You think it's going to be a real close one? Do you think the Jags are going to knock us into reality and hand us our first loss? So let me know your thoughts down below. Would love to hear it. Going to get rolling out here in a minute, but let's take a look at this depth chart. All of those players now. Now, the people in black will be the new players to the roster, whether they were in free agency or the draft. These are the pieces they added this year. So you see, they gave Doug Peterson a couple linemen to help protect his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. You already know they've got that run game. And then they added a couple receivers to go with Old Man River, Marvin Jones. So, hey, and Evan Ingram at tight end, again, we talked about if he can actually catch the ball, the dude can do damage. So they've got an offense that is not to be slept on, ladies and gentlemen. And then the same can be said for that defense. So you see here, they added those two linebackers we talked about it, and then that edge rusher, Sam linebacker, Trayvon Walker. And look, man, this team, again, I think, and hey, I guess I didn't change old Full Runzu up there, but they got him. I believe he came from the Jets. That dude is a monster. So, yeah, they've got some nice pieces there. And look, I think that, oh, don't forget to look over to the right there. I've got the nickel cornerback. I had to toss him in there to the right. Darius Williams with Trey Herndon there as depth, just in case you were going to miss that. But just wanted to point that out there. This is going to be a tough matchup, ladies and gentlemen. No, of course, let's look at the depth chart for the special teams. So, again, let's go out here. Let's not sleep on this team. No taking the pedal off the metal here, ladies and gentlemen. We need to go kick some ass. Let's go 4-0. Build on this, but going to be a very intriguing game. Cannot wait to make the top 10 matchups here, because even just making this one, I was like, damn, who am I going to against? I like this match. I was like, oh, damn, this is going to be a fun one. I imagine some honorable mentions are going to be in that show, but I hope you'll tune in this Thursday when I do that. But tomorrow, I will be dropping the injury report a little after 4 o'clock, whenever these teams drop their injury report, and whenever I'm home. I will definitely try to drop that for you guys. Definitely, I don't think every game's a trap game. It's the NFL. You can lose any game. So for me, look, it's a tough team. So you want to, every single game, bring your 100%, and you definitely better do that against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is not your mom and pop's Jacksonville Jaguars. This team is definitely surprising a lot of people. But I hope you enjoyed the show tonight, Behind Enemy Lines. Hope you got something from it. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on, and join us next time when we're talking birds or Jaguars, little kitty cats, whatever. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys, whether you're watching this live, watching this later. You can always comment down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on this game. Look, I'm really excited, and I know some of you guys are Jaguars fans out there, so let me know how you're feeling about it. Maybe there's something I missed. Whatever it is, let me know. But I hope you're all having yourselves a great week so far. If you need anything, you can always reach out to me, whether you want to talk about the birds or talk about life, whatever it is, please feel free to reach out. What are the odds the Eagles go 6-0 going to the bye? Well, I had them going 6-0, you guys remember, before the season. So I think it's a great chance. I have us, winning 15 games. I know everybody said, I'm smoking crack when I said that, but I think people see what I see now, man. So I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, I think this is going to be one of your toughest matchups in the next few weeks. Obviously, the Cowboys, 3 games after that. But looking forward to these matchups, man. And I really think the Eagles better come out 100%. And we got to stay healthy, obviously, but don't shoot yourself in the foot. Cannot have the stupid missed tackles. But listen to what Gannon's doing. Listen to what Steichen and Sirianni are trying to do. Great minds trying to come together and make some special things happen this year. So let's watch those special things happen together, because it's been tough, watching everybody turn on the Eagles this offseason. It's like, damn, dude. But to see everybody coming back and supporting this team, it's like, yes, this is what we try to warn them about. So strap up, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to ride, and let's see if we can go 4-0, because we beat this team. Everyone's going to tell us how they were always an Eagles fan since the moment they came out of the womb. I can't wait for that. I truly can't. But if you need anything, until tomorrow, again, I'll be back with that injury report. Unless something crazy were to happen, then, of course, I'll jump on and make a breaking news video. But I'll be back tomorrow, talk about the injury report. Then Thursday, it'll be the top 10 matchups. Friday will be Fan Friday, taking all of your guys' questions, a little bit of recap of the week. And then Saturday, hope to have on my buddy Dante as a guest. And then Sunday, pregame, halftime, postgame. So I hope you're ready for an amazing season, ladies and gentlemen. Strap in. I think they're all about to hear what we've been trying to tell them. But I hope you all have yourselves a great night. Appreciate you again for tuning in. Stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!